5. The VIP. Brushing at his uniform and straightening his cap, Lieutenant Hemmings waited with painful apprehension outside the General's door. The General, not for the first time, had issued contradictory orders. He was not to be disturbed, and Hemmings was to report at once. Damned either way, Hemmings had decided it would be safer to report. He heard a murmur of voices, and the General's voice called, "Enter!" Hemmings strode in the room, crashed to attention, and saw his 2 escaped prisoners comfortably ensconced in the General's guest chairs. "It's them!" he screamed and reached for his gun. He discovered that this was a singularly bad move. The polished leather holster at his belt was empty. Somehow he had lost his automatic during the prisoners' escape, and in his rush to recapture them, he had neglected to provide himself with another. "Looking for this?" asked the girl. To Hemmings' horror, she drew his Luger from her pocket and covered him with it. Hemmings crouched, ready to spring. Without taking his eyes from Ace, he said, "General, you are in great danger. These people are resistance terrorists, no doubt planning your assassination. When I attack the female, I beg you to throw yourself to the floor and summon assistance." The man's laugh spoiled the dramatic scene. "All right, we'd better give the lieutenant his gun back." He took the gun from the girl and tossed it to Hemmings, who caught it neatly and immediately trained it on the escaped prisoner. Ignoring him, the man turned to the General. "Permit me to explain. Part of my mission is to check up on the degree of alertness maintained by the Free Corps, on the speed of their response in matters of security. To this end, my assistant and I entered occupied Britain unofficially and without detection. That is why we have no luggage and are rather strangely dressed, incidentally. On arrival in London, we wandered about the festival, talking loudly in a treasonous and disrespectful fashion of the Führer and the Reich." He gave Hemmings a sternly reproachful look. "Only after some considerable time were we apprehended, and then only because of a chance report by a native informer." The General looked sternly at Hemmings. "Is this true, Lieutenant?" "It was an informer who summoned us," admitted Hemmings. "As for the rest," the stranger cut across him, "after we finally succeeded in getting ourselves arrested, I conducted a further test of Free Corps efficiency. We were held in conditions of ludicrously inadequate security and subjected to a series of inept psychological tricks." The General frowned. "But why did you not produce your credentials, reveal your true identity?" "For the sake of the test." "Yes, of course. Besides which, no one so much as asked me my name," continued the stranger. "Moreover, secrecy is the essence of my work. My true name, my official identity, my very presence here in occupied Britain must be revealed to as few people as possible, and certainly not to low-grade Free Corps interrogators. So in order to avoid the no doubt about to be forthcoming questioning, I removed myself and my assistant from the scene." Hemmings saw the General's face go red. "They've done it now," thought Hemmings exultantly. "They've finally gone too far. Any minute now the old man will tell me to take them out and shoot them." "So," said the General chokingly, "you were the escaped prisoners, and you've reported yourselves to me?" "Precisely, General." To his astonishment, Hemmings saw that the General was actually laughing. "Herr Doctor, you're a character, you really are," he spluttered. He looked again at the baffled Hemmings and laughed again. "Oh, my poor lieutenant, if you could see your face." "The situation may have its humorous aspect," said the stranger dryly. "However, the need for secrecy is real and absolute. You remember our earlier discussions, General, the question of my report." The General sobered at once. "Yes, indeed. If I may make a suggestion?" "Please do, Herr Doctor." "It has already been necessary to reveal something of my identity and my mission to this young officer. May I suggest that he be attached to my staff? I shall need an aide, and this would remove the need for informing others." "An excellent idea, Herr Doctor. Lieutenant Hemmings?" Hemmings crashed to attention. "My General, This gentleman, who will be known to you only as the Herr Doctor, is a high official of the Reich on a vital and top-secret mission. You will be attached to him as his personal aide, and you will see that he has anything he needs. Do you understand? At your orders, Herr General. I may add, said the General, that if it were not for the Herr Doctor's request for your services, you might now be facing an SS court-martial for incompetence and loss of military property. Hemmings looked at the automatic in his hand and hastily put it away. I am most grateful for your forbearance, Herr General, and deeply sensible of the honour of the post with which you entrust me. The General turned back to the Doctor. What are your immediate needs, Herr Doctor? The Doctor waved a careless hand. Suitable accommodations for myself and my assistant, food, clothing. We can discuss research facilities later. See to it, Lieutenant, barked the General. One of the river suites should be acceptable. They are all occupied, General. Then evict someone. At your orders, my General. Seething with suppressed rage, Hemmings saw the General turn ingratiatingly to the Doctor. May I hope for your company at dinner, Herr Doctor? I fear not. I shall begin work at once, and the less we are seen together, the better. A little something in my room, perhaps. My needs are simple. Arrange it at once, Lieutenant, ordered the General. And the other matters as well. The Herr Doctor is to have everything he wants. Do you understand? At your orders, my General. Hemmings saluted and marched away to begin his new career as the Doctor's dog's body. As he strode down the corridor, his mind was in a ferment of speculation. How had the Doctor managed to win over Strasser so completely? Could he really be a high official of the Reich? Hemming shook his head. The Doctor was somebody all right, a highly intelligent and formidable personality to be sure, but a top-ranking Nazi? Never! He was a fake, and given time, Hemmings knew he could prove it. Perhaps things hadn't turned out so badly after all. After politely evicting an astonished and indignant SS colonel from his suite, Hemmings made his way to the kitchens and ordered the finest cold collation the hotel could provide. And, he thought, I only hope the little bastard chokes. More champagne, Ace, or do you care for a little more caviar? Ace gave him a brooding look. I suppose a Coke and a hamburger is out of the question. They were sitting at a table by the window in their riverside suite. Besides the table was a trolley laden with delicacies of every kind. Smoked salmon, caviar, roast chicken, roast beef, roast pork, a variety of salads, 3 kinds of wine, not including the champagne, not to mention a selection of mega-fattening puddings and a jug of cream. All this had been produced by the Doctor's request for a simple cold snack. It had been impossible to turn it down, and it had been quite a job getting rid of the waiter. The Doctor spread a little more caviar on his toast. I'm afraid it wouldn't fit the dignity of the Reich, he said in answer to a question. Make the most of it, Ace. Now look here, began Ace. The Doctor shook his head. He put a finger to his lips, then to his ear, then pointed upwards. Ace frowned. I don't... Just eat, Ace. Talk later. Ace was hungrier than she realised, and she tucked into cold meat and salad, followed by trifle and cream, and washed down by champagne. The Doctor pecked and sipped at this and that in his usual bird-like fashion, and so they ate together in silence, finishing the meal with coffee from a silver vacuum jug. When the meal was over, the Doctor rose and headed for the bathroom, beckoning the puzzled Ace to follow. In the luxurious bathroom, the Doctor put the plug in the enormous bath and turned on hot and cold taps together. The room filled with steam and the sound of running water. The Doctor perched on the wide rim of the bath and beckoned Ace to sit beside him. All right, fire away. Ace had seen enough spy movies to realise what was going on. You think our suite's bugged? I'm sure of it. I thought we were supposed to be honoured guests. We are. But that doesn't... We are. Doesn't mean they trust us. But Professor... Look, Ace, these people live in a world of treachery and betrayal, a constant jockeying for position and power. That's why they scare so easily. They don't trust their dearest friends or their oldest colleagues. They don't even trust themselves. In a nearby store cupboard, Hemmings stood over an earphone-wearing technician. The man took off his headphones and looked up. "Nothing, Lieutenant. Just running water. There's conversation underneath, but I can't make anything out. They appear to be in the bathroom." "Both of them?" "Apparently, sir," said the technician woodenly. It wasn't for the likes of him to speculate on the personal habits of important Reich officials. "I offered to stay and wait on them, sir," said the waiter. "They wouldn't have it, threw me out." Hemmings nodded. "Here, let me try." Pushing the technician aside, he put on the earphones. "We came here after the Timewyrm, right?" said Ace. "So what do you think you're doing, playing top Nazi?" "Oh, do think, Ace," said the doctor. "You've got a brain, why not use it?" "We follow the time path indicator here and run straight into evidence of time tampering. Obviously it needs investigating." "I suppose so." "Now, this is a society of top dogs and underdogs, and if I'm to investigate, I have to be a top dog at least for a time." Ace changed tack. "Are you sure the Timewyrm's responsible for whatever's happened?" "Well, no," admitted the doctor. "We may have stumbled onto a completely different time crime, like a policeman chasing one burglar who trips over another." "But you think it's the Timewyrm?" "To be honest, I'm not sure." "Why not?" "I told you already. It just doesn't seem like her style." "What style? Evil, destructive, and raving bonkers." "Precisely. In her present state, the Timewyrm's a positive hurricane of evil. She'll storm through the universe, leaving a trail of destruction behind her." "So?" "Well, this business is too fiddly for her, too well planned. To interfere with history just enough to change the result of World War II would call for some very delicate adjustments. A hurricane doesn't sit down and fiddle with things, it just smashes them up." "So why don't we go back to the TARDIS and start again?" "Because, even if we have stumbled on a completely different crime, it still has to be investigated." "Never mind investigating, Professor. Why don't we do something about it?" "Such as?" Ace considered. "Well, you said that old bloke we met was probably in the Resistance, right?" "Go on." "Well, let's get in contact with him and give the Resistance a hand. I've been doing a bit of work on Nitro 9, actually, and you could rig up a few ray guns." Hemmings jumped, pushing back the earphones. "Something wrong, sir?" asked the technician. "He's yelling," said Hemmings. "Yelling what?" "No! Or to be precise, no, 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 no!" He replaced the earphones, but now he could only hear the sound of rushing water. The doctor had remembered the microphones and was whispering furiously into Ace's ear. "You've seen the state of things here, haven't you? Torture, brutality, oppression, starvation, all going on years after it ought to have been put a stop to." Ace nodded dumbly. "And do you know what caused it?" hissed the doctor. "Interference with time?" "Precisely. And you want to cure it with even more massive interference. Disaster piled on disaster." "And you've got a better idea?" "Naturally. I propose to trace the interference to its source and then correct it." "Suppose it all started years ago?" "Then we go back in the TARDIS and nip it in the bud." "We happen to have lost the TARDIS, remember?" "Come on, Ace, use your head. Who took the TARDIS?" "According to that old codger, it was the British Free Corps." "And where would they take it?" "To their HQ, I suppose." Ace looked at him. "Here?" "Right here. It's in the cellars under guard, not far from where we were locked up." Ace was too tired to argue. "All right, Professor, you win. What do you want me to do?" In a low, confidential voice, the doctor told her. "I can handle that," said Ace when he had finished. "What now?" The doctor peered into the huge bath, which was nearly full. "Well, your bath's ready, so you might as well use it. Then I suggest you get some sleep. There are night things in the bedroom." "What about you?" Sleep is for tortoises, said the doctor. Come on now, Professor. My dear Ace, our sitting room is full of huge armchairs and overstuffed sofas. I shall be perfectly comfortable, I assure you. I've got a lot of thinking to do. Ace yawned. Okay, if you're sure. Oh yeah, something else. Why did you ask for that smoothie Hemmings to be your aide? You made such a fool of him. He must hate your guts. The doctor chuckled. You're probably right. Then why? Because I like to have my enemies where I can see them. Which reminds me. The doctor leaned forward and turned off the bath taps. In the storeroom, Hemmings was concentrating furiously, but could only hear the sound of running water and the occasional garbled word. Then the noise of the water stopped, and he heard the doctor's incisive voice in his ear. Lieutenant Hemmings, report to me at 9 a.m. sharp, if you please. We have a busy day ahead. Jawohl, Herr Doctor, muttered Hemmings savagely. Tearing off the headphones, he hurled them across the room.